Hey, what's up guys, BenzoFigures here, and today I'll be showing you how I made this custom Agent Smith figure from the Matrix, but this particular look is from Multiversus. While the game was short-lived, I really dig the art style and the art direction of the game, so I haven't really seen anyone else make a custom of this particular Agent Smith, so I figured I'd give it a go. Now that I think of it, I don't think there's really any Agent Smith figures out there in general. Maybe statues or something, but nothing really articulated. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below if there are some. But that being said, let's begin. Starting off with theory crafting. So luckily Agent Smith's design isn't complicated at all. There are a ton of options of figures wearing suits, so I narrowed it down to a few that I'm considering. Initially, I picked up this Agent Ross figure over at Ollie's since I just needed the Build-A-Figure part to build a Tuma. Plus, since he was like 10 bucks, I figured I could use a dude wearing a suit for a future custom down the line. So taking him out of the package, not too bad of a base. Definitely has the suit going for him, but looks like there's going to be more work to be done. He has an open jacket, which is passable, but I'm not feeling it. The suit is also a dark gray color and not all black, so it's going to require more paint and prep work than I would like to commit to. Still, not a bad base, but I think I'll save this figure for another project. The second option is this Hammerhead figure that I picked up at a local con a little while back. I was going to use this for a Magneto in a suit, but I abandoned that custom idea. Instead, I think I'll be using Hammerhead over this Ross for a few reasons. The suit and pants are all black, and he has a closed jacket, so definitely will save me a lot of time and work. He does look beefy as hell though, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Hugo Weaving isn't nearly as swole, but having a villain character in a cartoony style be larger and buffer seems passable anyway, so I'll just roll with it. Now, a problem I know I'll be running into is finding a neck peg for Hammerhead here. Unfortunately, the neck piece is connected to this head, meaning we'll have to find Hammerhead a new neck piece to attach a head sculpt with. Luckily, my friend Julius over at Instagram came in clutch and sent me a bunch of fodder that I could work with here. First, let's check out the standard male neck peg from the G.I. Joe Classified series. The majority of the neck pegs are this size and are interchangeable with a ton of figures in the wave. It kind of fits here. It's a little small to be honest, but it can work with a little bit of effort. Next, let's check out the larger male neck peg. I think this base is from a Gung Ho figure, which is larger than the standard figure from Joe, like Duke and stuff. Yeah, it's a really snug fit. This will work out really well. The neck is looking a little big, but yeah, I think I could work with this. At least the neck shouldn't fall out of the socket with a little bit of glue. Now, all I gotta do is paint the inside white and the pocket piece black, and it should be a quick and easy custom. Next up, figure prepping. To get to the shirt, I gotta pry open the suit jacket. I'm gonna loosen it up first before butchering it right open with an X-Acto knife. Yo, what the heck? Where the hell is his torso? I didn't expect this at all. Hasbro really be cheaping out on the plastic, but it's fine. Unexpected, but it's fine. The tie is super bendy, so it shouldn't pose a problem at all painting under it. I don't plan on painting the entire shirt white, only the exposed parts, so yeah. For the primer, I'll be using this Vallejo white surface primer. It will help with the white paint attached onto the figure easier, plus painting white paint on white primer should really cover up the blue nicely. Well, hopefully. My first coat of primer, I want to broadly cover over the areas I plan on painting, just to have an idea on how far I'm going to paint. Off camera, once dried, I'll be going over this figure with another coat or two of primer to really cover up the blue, and make it easier to paint white on top of it, without the blue shirt showing through. Here's an update with 3 coats of primer, so yeah, way easier once I actually start painting. Next up is painting. I can't believe I made it this far into the video and completely forgot to talk about the head sculpt. Yo, my bad guys. For the head sculpt, I'll be using this 3D printed head that is literally pulled from the Multiversus game. That's why it's super accurate. It's literally the model. The file is from this user over at Cults 3D, and Comedian Viet printed it out for me. How I painted the head sculpt: first I primed it, and then after the primer dried, I used a mix of base skin tone and salmon rose. And for the lips, I just used brown rose. For the hair, I think I use a mix of brown and black paint to get really dark brown. So, sorry for the lack of footage on painting the head sculpt, but yeah. For painting the base, I'll be using white, black, and leather brown for the leather shoes. Gonna paint over this blue pocket with black paint, and yeah, it vanishes completely instantly. Once it dries, it'll be completely invisible. I forgot to mention, I did use black primer on the shoes just so the brown paint has somewhere to stick to. Anyways, painting over the leather shoes with leather brown. I might go over it with 2 coats of paint just to make sure I cover all the areas, but yeah. And lastly, here's the shirt after I painted it with 2 coats of white paint. I figured painting white paint on white primer would look redundant, so I didn't record any of that. But anyway, here's the final result of that. Subtle, but it looks better with the paint. Next up is sealing the figure. So before sealing your figure, be sure to wait 24 hours to allow the paint to dry and cure. I usually spray a matte sealant spray on the figure afterward, but today I'll be painting on the varnish instead. Since I didn't completely paint the entire figure and only painted certain parts of it, I opted to paint the varnish on instead. Plus, since I have to seal under this tie, it's probably the best way to go about it. By applying sealant or varnish onto the figure, it should help the paint to not crack and stuff, so it's super important to always seal your figures after painting. I'll be applying like 2 or 3 coats of varnish, waiting at least an hour in between each coat to give it time to dry. For the glasses, I'll be painting on gloss varnish onto it to give it a more reflective look to it. Adds a little bit of dimension to the figure, subtle and yet unnoticeable from afar, but I still want to give it something, you know. Lastly, assembling the figure. Since this is a pretty simple custom, not much to put back together other than the jacket and head. First off, I gotta put the jacket back on, and oof, it's a tight fit. And hopefully it doesn't rub the paint right off putting the jacket back on. But since the paint is sealed, we shouldn't worry too much about that. Hey, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I got this super glue from the dollar store. It works about the same as full price glue. Plus, I didn't expect to use a bunch of glue in the future, so this is more than enough, especially for $1. And now applying the super glue on, I like to squeeze a drop onto a paper towel first to make sure the glue has a steady flow before applying a light amount of glue onto the plastic. Don't want to overdo it with the glue. With too much glue, you can press the plastic down and you might have an overflow. Plus, it doesn't take too much super glue for it to work, so sometimes less is more. Gonna apply a light layer of glue onto the collar piece for the neck peg and press and hold it down for just a few seconds. Just enough so that way the glue can adhere to it. I did happen to find these larger trigger finger hands in my fodder box. No clue where it came from, but let me know down in the comments what figure these belong to, because seriously, I have no idea. But it does work perfectly on this tombstone base, so... And lastly, adding on the head sculpt, I'm going to use a little bit of sticky tack so that the head fits snug onto the neck joint. And with the head sculpt attached, he looks swole as hell. Might be too swole, but you know what? That's fine. In Multiversus, he pretty much plays and hits like Ganondorf with a gun, so in a way, it's pretty fitting. Plus, everyone is hella exaggerated in that game. Like, just look at Jason. He's literally shaped like a double door. Anywho, let's go check him out standing side by side with some other figures in my Multiversus collection. Overall, this was a super easy custom to make. It helps that Agent Smith has a relatively simple design, but still. With the tombstone base, it shouldn't have any paint rub since we only painted the shoes and the inside shirt. But yeah, let me know what you think. So, that is it for my how to make an Agent Smith figure for Multiversus video. Thanks for checking out the video. Let me know down in the comments below, who did you main in Multiversus? For more content, follow me on all my socials at BenzoFigures. Be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.